Welcome back to month two. I am so glad you're here with me. If you've been here since the beginning, I welcome you back. I have missed you in this space over the past week, and I'm so fired up for everything we're about to cover this month. And if you are brand new to this space, welcome. I'm so excited you're here. My name is Amanda, and I'm a registered nurse, a single mom to two incredible boys, and the founder of Holistically Blessed. This channel is whole person wellness rooted in faith, guided by nursing knowledge, and built for real, busy, imperfect women who want to take better care of themselves. This month, we're going deep on the physical side of holistic wellness. We're talking about what you eat, how you sleep, how you move, and how you hydrate. The body's actual needs from a nursing perspective in plain language you can use. And we start this week with the foundation of it all. We're talking about food. Not a diet, not a protocol, not a plan that requires you to overhaul your life. Just what does a registered nurse actually know about nutrition? And what does she actually do in her own kitchen with her own family? Let's get started. Nursing school does not teach you how to cook, but it does teach you what happens to your body that isn't fed. We learn nutrition from a clinical perspective, what deficiency looks like, what malnutrition does to healing time, what happens to immune function when the gut isn't supported, how protein intake affects wound recovery, what iron deficiency does to energy and cognition, how magnesium levels affect sleep and muscle function. And one of the things I observed early in my career is that the patients who struggled most with recovery, not always, but often, were the ones whose nutritional baseline was already compromised, not because they ate badly on purpose, usually because they were so busy, overwhelmed, giving everything to everyone else and eating whatever was fastest or whatever was left over. Sound familiar? The wellness world tends to talk about nutrition in terms of what to add, superfoods, supplements, powders. And nursing tends to talk about it in terms of what happens when you don't have enough of what your body actually needs. I want to bring both of those perspectives to you today, not to scare you, but to give you a genuinely useful framework. Because here is the truth. Eating well does not have to be complicated. It does not require a meal plan or a grocery budget you don't have. It requires knowing what your body actually needs and then making small, consistent choices in that direction. Let me give you the 5 nutrients I see women, nurses, moms, caregivers, consistently running low on, not based on trends, based on clinical research and what I see. Number 1 is magnesium. This mineral is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, from sleep, muscle function, stress regulation, and energy production. The majority of American adults do not get adequate magnesium from diet alone. Signs of depletion include poor sleep, muscle cramps, heightened anxiety, and difficulty recovering from stress. Food sources of magnesium include dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, dark chocolate, and whole grains. Number 2 is iron, particularly important for women, particularly for those of us in high activity roles. Nurses who are on our feet all day, moms who are always moving. Iron deficiency is most common nutritional deficiency globally, and it shows up as exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix, difficulty concentrating, and getting sick more often. Food sources include lean red meat, legumes, dark leafy greens, and fortified cereals. Number 3 is omega-3 fatty acids. Brain health, mood regulation, anti-inflammatory. Most of us are chronically under-consuming these. Food sources include fatty fish like salmon and sardines, walnuts, flaxseed, and chia seeds. Number 4, vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. And most of us are not getting enough sun exposure for adequate production, especially in colder months, or for those of us who work long indoor shifts. Vitamin D affects immune function, mood, bone density, and more. Get your levels checked if you haven't already. And number 5 is protein, not just for athletes. Protein supports muscle mass, satiety, hormonal production, immune function, and tissue repair. Most women undereat protein, especially at breakfast. Aim for a protein source at every meal. That's the simplest version of protein guidance I can give you. I want to share something personal for a minute. There was a season, I don't have to name it all, but a season when I was running so hard and giving so much that feeding myself became an afterthought. I would make sure my boys had a hot meal. I would make sure my patients had what they needed. And then I would eat whatever was fast, whatever was cheap, whatever required the least energy at the end of a busy day. And I started to feel it, not dramatically, but slowly. The energy that used to get me through a long shift started to run out before it was even lunchtime. The mental sharpness I depend on professionally felt foggy. I was more reactive, less patient, more depleted in ways that kept compounding. Looking back, I know exactly what was happening. My body was running on fumes because I had stopped giving it actual fuel. It took me a while to recognize this as a health issue, not a willpower issue, not a character flaw, not just being tired. My nutritional baseline was genuinely compromised because I had been consistently at the bottom of my own priority list. The changes I made were not dramatic. I started making sure I ate breakfast, actual protein at breakfast, before I left the house. I started keeping snacks in my bag that had more than empty carbohydrates in them. I started drinking water before coffee. Small things consistently over months. The difference was real. And I share this because I think a lot of women are where I was, feeding everyone and everything except themselves. And I want to say clearly, that is not sustainable. That is not what you were designed for. And changing it is not selfish, it's necessary. Okay, let me tell you about feeding a 9-year-old and a 16-year-old simultaneously, because I promise these are not the same experience. My 16-year-old, he is at an age where he is genuinely curious about nutrition. He plays sports, he's active, he cares about his energy and his performance. And he has started asking real questions. What should I eat before practice? What helps with muscle soreness? What can I make myself that actually gives me energy? And I truly love this. I love that he is developing this awareness early. He manages his own oils. He has his preferred blends. He knows his dosing. He asks about new ones he wants to try. And now he is starting to think about food the same way, intentionally. The conversations I have with him about nutrition are actual conversations. Protein for muscle development, iron for energy, staying hydrated during his exercise. He is engaged, he's asking, and watching him grow into that ownership of his own health is one of my favorite things about this season. My 9-year-old is a different story entirely. He has opinions and strong opinions about textures, about colors, about whether the vegetables are even making it on his plate. He knows what he likes, and he will tell you at great lengths why everything else is unacceptable. But here's what I found with him. When he helps make it, he is significantly more willing to try it. So I involve him. He helps stir, he helps measure, he helps pick the meal when I give him 2 options. And slowly, very slowly, the range of things he will eat is expanding. He also now asks for his oils when something is going on, a stomach ache, a hard day at school, a night when he can't settle. And that ownership at 9 is something I am incredibly proud of. These boys are my daily reminder that wellness is not a destination. It is something we grow into together over time. I want to talk briefly about where doTERRA fits into a nourishment conversation, because it does fit, and I want to be honest about how. My primary go-to for digestive wellness is Digestin, doTERRA's digestive blend of ginger, peppermint, tarragon, fennel, caraway, coriander, and anise. As a nurse, I appreciate that each of these plants has its own documented history of supporting digestive function. Ginger alone has extensive research behind it for nausea and digestive comfort. I apply Digestin topically diluted over the abdomen. When I'm having a tough digestive day, after a shift where I didn't eat well and my gut is telling me about it, or when either of my boys has a stomach complaint. For my 9-year-old, this is genuinely one of the first things he asks for when his tummy hurts. I also use lemon in my water daily, the dietary grade version specifically, for the general cleansing and digestive support it provides. I want to be clear, as always, these oils support wellness. They do not replace medical care for actual gastrointestinal conditions. If you have persistent digestive issues, please see a doctor. What digestion can do beautifully is support your digestive system on the everyday, ordinary days when it just needs a little help. My doTERRA link is in the description below if you want to learn more about digestion or any other products I mention. I want to close the main content of this video with the thing that reinforces all of it for me. 1 Corinthians, chapter 10. I want to close the main content of this video with the thing that reinforces all of it for me. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. Whether you eat or drink, God is not neutral about what goes into your body. He is interested. He designed food with purpose, nutrients that nourish, flavors that bring pleasure, the experience of sharing a meal as an act of community and love. What I want to offer you is this reframe. What if eating well was not about discipline or willpower or following a plan? What if it was simply about stewardship and worship? When I feed my body well, when I choose food that actually nourishes rather than just fuels, I am saying, this body matters. This life is worth tending to. I take seriously the gift I've been given. That is a very different energy than guilt over what you ate yesterday or anxiety about what you should eat tomorrow. That is the energy of grace and intentionality and trust. Nourishment as an act of faith, as an expression of love for yourself, for your children who are watching you model what self-care looks like, and for the God who designed every cell in your body to need what He already provided. That is what feeding yourself well looks like in this community. Month 2 is going to be something. I have so much coming. This week is just the beginning. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It genuinely helps more people find this content. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we are posting every single week. Leave me a comment below. What is the hardest part of nourishing yourself well right now? I read every single one, and I want to know what you're dealing with so I can make content that actually helps. And if someone in your life needed to hear this message today, a friend, a sister, a colleague who feeds everyone and forgets herself, please share this video with her. You never know what someone is ready to hear. Links for everything I mentioned are in the description below. I'll see you next week. With love and grace always.